Welcome friends, welcome to the second part of syllabus application number 40. So in the last video we have just implemented half of the definition of syllabus application number 40. Okay, this application is based on content provider, and we have to implement view and insert operation in this application. Okay, so in the last video we have performed insert operation as well as view operation. First of all, we have view all the records of the database, that is content provider. Okay, we have view all the records in a list view. The first step, the very basic step was that we have defined a list view in a layout, and then we have used simple cursor adapter to load all the records of the content provider in our list view. Okay, then to provide the facility of inserting new contact or adding new contact, we have defined one option menu. Okay, in that option menu we have given the facility of adding a contact. We have defined an option menu with option item as add contact, and when client clicks on add contact, we have represent client with a dialog box in which we have prompted him for entering username, means contact name, and phone number of that contact. And when client submits this data, we are using a predefined intent, that is implicit intent, for inserting a new record to the contact content provider. And if you remember that intent was context contract dot intents dot insert. Okay, so we have used dot action, that action, to perform the insertion operation on the underlying context content provider. Okay, so this was done in the last lecture, and we have also implemented that whenever client inserts or add a new contact, that contact is at that time reflected in the list view. Okay, so list view was automatically refreshed. We have used method notify dataset changed for refreshing this list view. See, if you remember, we have we have called this method notify dataset change in the on resume lifecycle method of the activity, because when client adds a new record, that record is inserted in the contact content provider, but we have implemented the logic of reading all the records in on create handler of the activity lifecycle. On create method is such that it is executed only once during the lifecycle of an activity at the beginning of the lifecycle. But when client add record or insert a new record in the contact content provider, that record is added, but before that record was added, list view was populated. Okay, it was a given source, so the record which was inserted, okay, after on create method is not shown in the list view. Yeah, if client stop the activity, exit from the activity, and again next time when he runs the activity, the new record which was inserted in the last execution will be shown. Okay, but the record which was inserted in current execution is was not shown in the list view. For that we have called the method notify dataset change in on resume method. Why? Because when client selects on add contact, a dialog box appear in front of the over the activity, so activity's current state becomes on pause. Okay, and when that dialog box is disappear, when client submit the record and the dialog box is removed from the screen, again activity got the focus and on resume method is called. Okay, so we have called the notify dataset change method in on resume method. Okay, now what we have to do, the remaining portion of the application is that when the user selects any contact label from the list view, dialer application should be launched and call should be made using dialer application. So this much portion is remaining. Here what we have to do, see, first of all we have to launch the dialer application. For that we need to use implicit intent action dial. Okay, another thing, we have to open dialer application, and in that dialer application the phone number of the contact on which client has clicked, just clicked, should be appear on that dialer application. Okay, so that he can initiate a call. So again we need to retrieve the phone number associated with that particular contact. Okay, and we need to put that contact, that phone number in the dialer application. So let's start. First of all, we will implement the on click handler on the list view, and we will just check whether particular any number can be shown in the dialer application or not. When client clicks on the particular contact, whether any contact, we will check right now static data, static number, and then we will fetch the phone number associated with the contact on which client has clicked. So let's start. See, it is the logic that we have implemented in the last video. Yeah, as I told you, we will implement the list view on click handler. Okay, list view dot set on item click listener. On item click listener. Okay, and here we need to pass argument new on item click listener, adapter view dot on item click listener. And what will we do here? Yeah, override the on item click method, and inside this method we will, yeah, we are getting the ID also. Okay, on which list item client has clicked, the ID of that particular record will be passed here. Okay, so just we will define a intent, dial intent, okay, is equal to new intent, intent dot action. Again, I will like to remind you that as we are using the intent to open the calling feature dialer application. Okay, and just the dialer application will be in front of the client and the number will be placed over there. Okay, call will not be initiated automatically, only and if client clicks on the call button, then only the call will be initiated. So again, the control is in hand of client. He can ignore to place a call. Okay, or he can, if he want, he can also initiate the call. So what I mean to tell you is that we don't need to take any permission for using this action dial intent. Okay, okay, so the second argument to this intent is the telephone number or the mobile number which we want to pass to the dialer application. Okay, sorry, it is URI. Okay, URI dot pass, and here start activity and intent. Okay, just we are checking dial intent. Just we are checking whether the dialer application is opened or not when client clicks on the particular list item. We are just testing for that. So let's run this application. Now actually what should be done? Here we have passed number statically, but actually the number which we are passing to the dialer application should be fetched from the uh, contact providers table. It may happen that particular contact on which client has clicked does not have any phone number associated. So in that case, we should also show proper message to the client that no phone numbers are associated with this. Application is in the way of execution. Sorry, it is in the process of installation. Let's wait for it. So if you remember, in the previous few videos we have been demonstrating reading from contact content provider. At that time we have came to know that the records, the data of particular contact is distributed among more than one table. For example, the name of the contact is in one table, which is a master table. The phone numbers associated with that particular contact are in another table. So it is a bit complex task to read a phone number of particular contact which is in another table. So again we need to query to another number. Okay. Yeah, activity is launching. See, activity is launched, and if I click on a particular number, a particular contact, okay, see, dialer application is opened and a phone number which I have passed statically right now is also shown here, and if I click on the call button, the call will be placed. Okay, so it is the process of opening the dialer. Okay, it is fine, it is working. And now here what we have to do, we need to fetch the phone number of the client for whom client has clicked on the contact. Okay, so first of all we should find out whether any contact of that particular contact, whether any phone number of that particular contact exists or not. For that purpose there is one column in the same content providers table, and that is this table. The column is has phone numbers. Okay, so either we need to query here and find out the contact numbers associated with that column, phone numbers associated with that contact, and that contact can be referenced by the ID. So again we need to query here. Okay, same table, we need to query the same table for fetching another column that is has phone numbers. Okay, but if you don't want to fetch again and query again, we can do one thing. I have an idea. We can put an additional column here, that is contract dot contacts dot has phone number. Okay, and then the layout which we have defined for the list view, we will add an additional text view for displaying the value of hash phone numbers. Okay, that layout is, which is that layout? Add, let me see here, list view, simple cursor adapter, yeah, display name. r.layout.display name. Okay, I will put another text view here. It is relative layout. Okay, and I will put a simple small text view, and the size of the text will be 15, and I will give it name has numbers. Okay, has numbers. It will be on the right side of the display. Okay, and it will be aligned to the, or let's say no need to align also. We will actually, what will we do right now? We are showing this has phone numbers column in the list view item, but finally when we have done, we will make this column invisible, so it will not appear in the output, because we are told in this application that only list view should show the name, okay, of the contact. Now, as there are two text views here in our from, we have to mention context contract dot has dot context dot has phone number. Okay, and where it is 2, where there we have to pass the ID of the text view. Okay, now now it is very simple. Okay, everything is done. Let us check it. Now our list view will show the name of the contact as well as the phone numbers. If there are phone numbers associated with that contact, it will show the number of contacts, that how many numbers are there associated with this particular contact. So application is on its way of installation. See, it is showing the phone numbers associated with that column. Okay, so here when client clicks on this contact, we will do one thing. We will first of all retrieve the text view. Okay, that is has phone numbers text view will be retrieved because it is on the screen in the list view. Okay, is equal to text view find view by id r.id dot has numbers. Okay, and now integer numbers is equal to integer dot parse int has phone dot get text dot to string. Okay, now we will check here if nums is not equal to 0, then we will query for the phone numbers, else we will show a dialog box that no phone numbers are associated. Show message. Here the method show message is not defined. We will build an alert dialog builder. Main 20 dot this, then builder dot set title which is passed as argument, builder dot set message, the message which is passed as argument. Okay, builder dot show, but before that builder dot set positive button. Okay, and new dialog interface dot on click listener, and nothing. Okay, doing nothing there. Now we will call the show message in the else part if no contact are associated. Contact will be the title, no contacts exist. Okay, whatever message you want to give, you can give here. Now here we need to query again another cursor. Okay, is equal to, we need to write the same thing that we have written here, but the table of the content provider will be different here, so we need to modify in that manner. Okay, content resolver dot query, then here context contract dot context dot or common data kinds dot common data kind, then okay, it might be row context dot content URI or something else. I think it was common data kind and content URI. Content URI, and then contact contract dot name of the column which we want to retrieve. Here we will be retrieving only one column, and that is phone. Okay, let me check it in the
application that we have performed before this. Context contract dot common data kind dot phone dot content URI, that is the URI, okay, and the phone numbers are okay, common data kind dot phone dot contact. Here the URI is common data kinds dot phone dot content URI, okay, and the name of the column is also, the name of the column which we want to retrieve is also common data kinds dot phone, okay. Phone dot number. Phone dot number, okay. So the URI is contact contract dot common data kinds dot phone dot content URI, and the name of the column is context contract dot common data kinds dot phone dot number. And here we need to give the criteria also, okay. Context contract dot common data kinds dot phone dot contact ID, okay. Now we need to concat here is equal to question mark. What should be the value of that ID? Here new string, we need to pass an array, okay. The ID of that contact on which client has clicked is passed here as long ID, okay. So that ID should be passed as the selection argument. Here string dot value of ID, okay, and yeah, it is sort order which we will pass here as null, okay. Now if yeah, there are contexts available, so we will first of all cursor1 dot move to first, okay, and we will read that phone number in a string variable is equal to cursor1 dot get string 0, okay. Now that phone number should be passed as data to the intent, okay. The intent code which we have written earlier would be written here, okay, and the argument which we are passing here should be tell, then concat here phone number, and then concat bracket, okay. So action dial will be performed on the data which is retrieved from the context table, okay. What is here? One bracket, okay, one bracket is bracket is to be written here, okay. Now let us run and check it. So we have query the context content provider another table where these all phone numbers are stored, and we are checking before that we have checked whether the phone numbers of that contact are available or not. Okay, we have shown has phone numbers value in the list view which is not asked, so we will make it invisible. Okay, let's check the output of this. Application is on its way of installation. Gradle is already built. Application is installed, and see here the contact Madhav does not have any phone numbers associated. Let me click on that. Now I have clicked on Madhav, so application is terminated incorrectly. See what is the problem here. It may happen that while reading the phone number, we might not have moved to next, or yeah, we have moved to next. Yeah, permission on the fly may be required. Okay, and that permission on the fly is not written, but let us check what is Android telling us. Cursor index out of bounds exception. Index 0 requested with a size of 0. Cursor 1 dot move to next. Cursor 1 content resolver dot query, and we have passed criteria is equal to value of ID. Okay, if numbers is not equal to 0, but the numbers of that column was 0 on which I have clicked, so this code should not be executed. Let us have one thing. We will just display a toast message in which we will display these numbers. Okay, let us run it. It is the same error which we were getting in the previous video, where we have not moved the cursor. Okay, here we have already moved the cursor to next or to first. Let us click on this record. Number is equal to 1. It is showing number equal to 1. Here 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 number equal to 1. 1. Okay, why it is showing that integer? Okay, yeah, it is to be passed here view dot find view by id. Okay, view dot, because the text view is inside view. View is repeated for each record in the list view, each item in the list view. Okay, let's check. Okay, now it is okay. So let's now check the code that we have written earlier. So our mistake was that the text view which we were finding was inside the list view. Inside the list view there are many list items. For each list item, that layout, display name is repeated. Okay, so the reference of that layout display, okay, is returned for each list item. Okay, so we cannot directly find the view by its id from activities layout. We need to find that text view from the layout which is repeated for each list item. Okay, so we have called view.find view by id. Okay, the output is in front of us. Now clicking on Madhav, now contact exists. Very good. Clicking on Chirag Raj, yeah, number is there. Okay, and that number is also passed as argument. Okay, phone number 1 is passed as argument. Now suppose I click on Punabhai, the phone number associated with Punabhai contact will be opened and client can place the call if he clicks on the call button, otherwise not. Okay, so permission is not needed for that. Now one thing is to be performed here is that we need to make these hash phone numbers invisible. Okay, if that was not done, if we have not used hash phone numbers like that, what should we have to do? That we have to again do one more query to the underlying content provider, and making these queries take some time, take processing power. Okay, and we should utilize it. Okay, so that's why we have ignore to call one more query. Okay, and we have just perform both these things which we have to perform, which we need to perform in a single query. Okay, so here in the layout of our layout of display, yeah, we will make the second text view visibility as invisible. Okay, now let us check. Okay, so you can see here that the another field, additional field which was has phone numbers is removed. That is, we have make it invisible. Now suppose I click on Manav. Okay, so yeah, contact is open and client can put a call. Okay, if I click on Madhav, yeah, no contact exists. Okay, so it was all about the application number 40 of your syllabus, which is this, and we have performed all the things in 2 videos. We have displayed the records, we have provided the facility to add new contact name and phone number, and at last today we have also apply what we have applied today, dialer application. Okay, provide the facility of dialing to that particular contact on which client clicks. Okay, using the implicit intent action dial. Okay, so this was all about application, and let us move ahead, and we will meet again in the video which will be next video of our this series of lectures. In next video we will be using so we will meet again in the next video, and in the next video we will be performing another application of content provider, but in that case we will not use content provider. There is another definition given in your syllabus, that is of media content provider. So we will be performing operations on media content provider, that we will perform in the next video. And once you get an idea about how to work with, how to interact with content providers, then the mechanism remains same for all the content providers. So it will be little easier for us now to use any of the content provider. What does we need? Just we need the URI of that content provider. We need to identify the column names, name of the columns which we want to read, and the somewhere type of the values which can be stored in that particular column. So these much things are needed if we want to work with, or if we want to use any of the content provider. Okay, so in the next video we will be using that, we will be implementing that syllabus application which is given, okay, regarding media store content provider. Okay, so right now I am stopping this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being with me. See you soon.